Okay, I'm back. I had to put a new SD card in because I'm running out of room on this phone. So hopefully I can get all that taken care of after this video. Um, Now where was I? Okay, so one thing that she says in here, and I don't know if I talked about this before, but pretty sure I did, that this is based off of, or written by the lady who does the Fly Lady, who does a lot of things to do with cleaning your house and decluttering your house. Hold on just a minute. My dog is on the bed and he's moving around and he's making this video bounce around. Let me grab. Oh, hopefully this won't move so much. Okay, so one thing she says here towards the end of this chapter is, you can't organize clutter, you can only get rid of it. So this is the same, this is true for our clutter of stuff as well as the clutter of our body weight. We have to get rid of the things that are causing the problems. And most of the time, it's bad choices, but they're based on something that we're feeling, something that we're doing. And I think we need to find that root cause and learn how to overcome and work through it. Baby steps and routines are the cure for clutter in your home. Body clutter too has a cure, and with baby steps and routines, we can live healthier, happier, longer lives. Finally, loving yourself is not about being magazine cover thin and perfect. It is about loving yourself enough to be as healthy as you can be for you, and in turn for those you love. And so it has to start with you. And then when you do the good things for you and you become healthier, make healthier choices, you're doing the same thing for your family. Because like in my case, if I buy healthier snacks or make healthier meals, they're not just for me, they're also for my husband as well as my in-laws. Now, for the most part, we're pretty good about that, but the snacks, sometimes I bring things I think, oh, I know my husband likes that. And then sometimes I sneak a little bit of it, or not sneak, but I feel sneaky because I know I'm not supposed to do that because I've made a promise to myself I'm not going to do it. And I can just not buy it because he doesn't really need it either. He doesn't struggle the same way I do, but just making healthier choices and buying healthier snacks that he'll like as well. Like we've tried, he really likes soda. He's cut down a lot on soda. And one thing that I found was that he kind of enjoys some flavors of the Olippops, which are like, I think it's like a carbonated water flavor, but it's like plant-based and it's got a lot of probiotics in it. And so he likes those somewhat, some flavors. But there's these, they're mushroom drinks. I think they're called Alive is the brand. The next time I go grocery shopping next month, I will show that haul. But those ones are, I think they have 3 or 4 different mushrooms along with like a flavor. Like one is tastes like a cola, one tastes like root beer, which that one tastes a lot like black licorice to me, which I don't like. My favorite is the Cascara chai. So it just tastes a little more like chai, and it has this like real spicy-ish flavor. But they're really good for you, for your gut, for your mind, and a lot of other things. So, and plus we've been drinking more kombucha lately, that's something I discovered when I was eating a whole food plant-based diet, because I wanted some drinks that I could get, and I wasn't a big soda drinker anyway, but I did like Sprite every once in a while. I love iced tea, but I never liked it sweetened. I like unsweetened iced tea. And so I started drinking chia drinks. I think they're Mama Chia is the brand. I love those ones. And then I discovered the kombucha because it was good for your gut. And I have used that when I've had issues with Mounjaro. With Trulicity, I really had a lot of issues. I was sick almost the 3 months that I had it. Just really bad nausea, stomach pain, a lot of stomach issues, and just extremely fatigued. Now with Mounjaro, this Saturday will be my 4th injection of that one. My blood sugars are doing way better than they were even on the Trulicity, although Trulicity did help. And I do want to go over those numbers as well, which I think, depending on how long this video gets, I'll probably talk about it during this video anyway, but I might have a part 1, part 2. But before going on Trulicity, so since I first started dealing with diabetes, I guess I was like 38 or so. I believe at that time my A1C that they checked at the doctor was in the 7s, I believe, which, if I'm not mistaken, that's where it was. And I do want to go back and get some of those blood test copies just to kind of see where I was at and what was going on, because I journal a lot, and I think it'd be interesting just to find out what was going on and correlate that. I like stuff like that. But I was always able to bring it back down to like a 6 or so. So I was like, back down to where I needed to be. Now, I don't know what changed in January of last year, 2023. But my blood sugars just kept going up. So I noticed that when I was doing the whole food plant-based diet, I wasn't on any medication, and my numbers were pretty normal. The last time I checked them, I think I was like at a 6.2, because I was having a lot of low blood sugars taking the medication, eating that whole food plant-based diet. My thyroid was also normal. Now my thyroid is normal now, as far as I know. It's the last time I checked it. I have blood work coming up, I believe, end of April, along with an ultrasound of my thyroid. So I'll talk about that as well in one of the videos. So in January, when I went in, I believe I was at an 8.7, somewhere around there, which is really high for me. And I was feeling sick. I was having a lot of issues with headaches, dizziness, blurry vision, just not feeling well at all. And I know that part of the issues I was having, because I know stress exasperates some of these things, but since my mom passed away, and it may have started even before, because she was sick, and I know I don't allow myself to think about that as much, and I would just always try to don't think about it, just it'll get better, and that kind of thing. But it'll be 2 years in July, and in that time, I think just all of that finally hit me, because I was, well, she was sick the about 3 months since she got really sick. I would go over and help her, do the things she needed to do, or do things for my dad so he wouldn't have to leave, their shopping, things like that. So I had a purpose, a mission. This is what I was doing. So I wasn't thinking about it. When she passed away, it really threw me for a loop. It was just one of the most devastating things that I think any of us have gone through. And what I did to deal with it, because I don't like to be emotional, so I knew there was a lot of stuff to do in that time, to help my dad deal with all the bills that were going on, and just getting things prepared, going through the things, all the stuff that had to be done. And with help from my sister's brother and everything, we did a lot of the stuff. But since I'm the one that's more closer to my dad, in miles, and also I have I have more time to go and help him. So that's been my thing. And during that first, first few months, almost a year, it was like we had a lot going on. I was busy. And I noticed that, because I wasn't dealing with what had happened, it was weighing on me, but I just didn't want to. I didn't know how to deal with that. I don't like emotion. I do not like to cry. I don't want to deal with it. So I kept myself busy. Now, one thing I did do a lot was, because I was back and forth a lot, I was eating a lot of bad food, a lot of fast food, and just stuff that I used to do that I hadn't done in years, and it was just weighing on me. So when I did the whole foods plant-based diet, this was before all this, it was back in, I believe it was like 2020 into 2021, and I had lost, I believe it was 32 pounds. And so, as a matter of fact, I think I wrote that down, but anyway, it was about 32 pounds, and I kept most of it off, even at that time, even though I was eating bad. I think my highest weight after that was still about almost 20 pounds less than my highest, so I still hadn't gained it all back. But I noticed just gaining what I did changed how I was feeling, and the food I was eating was bothering me, so I started trying to get back to eating healthier. So I did that and everything, but then I went in January of 2023, and my A1C was at 8.7 or so. So I thought, okay, I'm going to work on this. I was taking my medication. See, I have issues with medication. I struggle taking it. I struggle remembering to take it. I just struggle wanting to take it. I don't know if I fear taking medication so much, but it's something that my mom also struggled with, that I think a lot of us do. It's just, we read into the side effects, we read into all that stuff, and I know that there's a lot of that, and I get it, and I am for the more natural way of things. If we can do that, that's great. But sometimes there's a time and place for medication, I guess. So, I got on my medication that I was taking, and at that time, I think I was taking glyburide and pioglitazone or something like that. And I'm not sure if there was another one. I think those were it at the time. For some reason, I think I'm missing something, because the glyberide's at a really low dose, and the other ones were like not the highest, but in those ranges. I don't know where they were exactly, but they weren't helping. And before, I could just take glyburide for a while and it would just go right back down. So the next time I went in, 3 months later, I guess it was, and they're right back up to like a 9.1 or 2 or something like that. Okay, so then I tried getting to see an endocrinologist, but I was going in for the whole hypothyroidism, as well as PCOS, as well as diabetes. But one of the endocrinologists that was close by me was only taking patients for diabetes, and only if they were at a 10 or higher. I didn't qualify for that. Thank God I wasn't at a 10, but it was still hard, because I really wanted to see someone that dealt with just this, because of all the things that I deal with. So a little more time passed, and we started looking for more endocrinologists, and I found one, which is in Rio Rancho, I believe. So that's a little bit further away from me. That's over about an hour-ish away or so. And they were able to get me in. But right prior to that, I did another blood test for my A1C, and I was at a 9.7 or 9.8. And I had already cut down on all the foods that I thought were the bad ones, that I knew I was, shouldn't have. But it was like, it just wouldn't come down. And the doctor told me, she said, it might not be anything you're doing necessarily. It could be that because you've had it for this many years, you're older, your pancreas could be tired. So it's not working as well as it should. She also said, with, the stress, grief and all that, that could pose an issue with that as well as being 46, and, at that time I was 45. And it could be perimenopause, which also wreaks havoc on your body, and it has a lot to do with hormones, which so does hypothyroidism. the PCOS, and I don't know about diabetes exactly, but because they're all kind of in the metabolic system, I think they all kind of, you know, can wreak havoc with your hormones, or if your hormones are out of whack because of menopause, it also contributes to that. So, because I do know that I've heard that people in, I guess if you're in the perimenopause, menopause stages of your life, you can even get diabetes or other things because of that. So, there's all that. Now, so that's when we started down the line of either going to insulin, which I really didn't want to. I just didn't like the idea of having to have an injection of insulin. And then I didn't want to be on something like that my whole entire life. But I couldn't do anything, right? So we tried the injections, the different ones that they have on the market now. That was the first one we tried to get was, I believe my doctor tried Ozempic. Insurance wouldn't pay for that one. So then she went through to whatever the generic name is for Mounjaro, because I knew it was with the T and I couldn't pronounce it, I couldn't remember it. So at that time, the insurance didn't pay for it. So finally I got into an endocrinologist, and the last one my doctor had tried for was Trulicity. So they just still didn't pay for it with my doctor alone. So, excuse me. The endocrinologist was able to get Trulicity for me. So I started that, but it did bring my sugars down. It did start bringing it down for the 3 months. And it helped me to get myself back to watching what I was eating, because some things were getting me sick. Plus, I was already feeling sick just on Trulicity, and I didn't want to get sicker. I didn't want to have more stomach issues. So it got me thinking about what I was eating a little bit more. Now, my 3rd month of Trulicity, which was February, it was time for a refill. They wanted me to go to the next level of Trulicity. So we put in for that. And then there was a shortage of Trulicity, and pretty much all of them, I believe, are like on shortages and things like that. So I wasn't able to get that. So I didn't know what to do. I could possibly just stay on the one that I was on, because they may have gotten some more of that in, which would have been left me without medication for maybe 2 or 3 weeks instead of 2 or 3 months. And I had one more left of that Trulicity. So in that time, I talked to the endocrinologist, and they were able to get me on Mounjaro. Now, my first one with that one, I did have some issues with my stomach the first week, the first like 2 or 3 days, and stomach pain, TMI, but constipation. And so and the reason I share that is because there's a lot of people that may be considering these medications or are on them, and it's the idea of you're not alone. There are a lot of us are dealing with that, and I still struggle with taking this injection because it's not something I want to do forever. So I'm determined to, as I'm taking this, completely make new habits. Like, eating better and watching, doing more exercise and all the things that I should be doing anyway. So now I started Mounjaro on the 9th of March. So since then, I've been doing a little bit better about doing the glucometer. I did it for a while. I always forget that thing. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of things now that I'm doing this video, that hopefully when I edit and go back and look at it, that I can remember to put a lot of alarms on my phone, and I have my husband have alarms for me to take my vitamin D and the injections on my phone. And so this way, one of us, can remember. And usually he remembers anyway, but it's like, let's just put an alarm on my phone. That way I know you won't just turn yours off and be distracted by something else, or, whatever's going on. So now I've been tracking most days my my A1C levels. And so prior to Trulicity even, because I didn't go back that far in my glucometer to see where I was at, but I know before that, when I do like my fasting check in the morning, it was like in the 240s, or really 180s was like, you know, the lower one. Everyone's on 50s, but I mean, that's really high. It was usually in the 200s. Now, in March, the days prior to me starting Trulicity that I wrote down here, I was at a 140 in the morning. And I believe that was one of the times that I had, I think I had a muffin at night or something like that. And I know I think that was the night that I did that. So I knew in the morning it was going to be higher, but normally I'm used to it being really high. So 140 was actually really good for me at that time. Now, since then, I've had two of them that have been higher, but I don't know. Let me see if these were fasting ones. Oh, actually, none of these are fasting ones. These were after dinner, the 2 hour after dinner. And according to what I looked at, is I believe 140 to 180 is what is normal after dinner. And I've been at, my highest after dinner was 154. Had a 148 after lunch. But it looks like after dinners, let's see, have been 119. Let's see, 105, 130, 118, and I only have up to the 26th on this page. And I'll kind of show it to you. It's a little messy, but kind of see what I was doing here. And I don't check them every morning. I forget sometimes. And I did check it today. As a matter of fact, I'll grab that so I can share that. But as of that time of taking it, my 90-day average, which is usually when you go to the doctor, I believe they do the 90-day or maybe the 30-day. But the 30-day average is a 122 and the 90-day average is a 135. So according to that, on the scales, I would be at about a 6.5 or 6.7, somewhere in that area. So that's really good. That's actually getting me back down from that 9.8. Now, today's morning fasting was 117. My lowest morning fasting has been a 95. No. That was an afternoon one. 99. And the morning, I believe, is a 92 or an 80 to 100 or 90 to 110. I'm not sure, something like that. But I know at least in the 90s before. I know from 90 to 100 for sure is about where it should be. So looking at this now, my 30-day average is still at a 122 as it was on the 26th. But my 30-day average is what I said, right? Okay, so my 90-day average from 135 went down to 130. So I'm hoping that continues. And a lot of that is because I am really trying to watch what I'm eating. Now the weight loss, I do have some weigh-ins. I'd have to go back throughout my journal because I did put some in there. I have some that I've done here at home, which we have this old-fashioned scale, you know, just the one that just kind of moves like this, not the digital. And I've used the one at my Dad's house, which is digital, and then the ones at the doctor's, which are also digital. So my plan is whenever I do weigh in, because I'm going to have a certain weigh in date or day of the week, I guess. Maybe, I don't know if I'll do it every week. I'm not sure, but at least every 2 weeks. So I'll make sure that I write down where I did it because of the difference in scale, the type of scale or whatever. But for the most part, it'll be here at home, early mornings before my shower. And that's usually when I like to do it. So I think that's would be a little more accurate at least. But I did anyways. I had a paper that I'd gotten from the doctor that had my weight from the first ever time I went to that doctor was when I was still living in Las Vegas. I would believe that was in 2016. And at that time, so here goes the numbers, real vulnerable part. And I'm hoping that I can share this because I know this is going to help me and keep me accountable. And I know that it'll help me to see my progress as well. So I'm 4'11". So that gives you a picture in your mind of how much weight this is for me at 4'11". My highest weight at that time was 242. That's my highest weight that I've had, I think, ever. So that was the highest, and that was still around at that time. And I know even back in, if I could find a picture, which I'm trying to look for some pictures to post in either this video or the next one, when I do the measurements, is 2020, I believe, when we had moved here in 2019, and that following February, so we moved here at the end of September, we had an anniversary get together. I believe it was 2020. It could have been 2021. It must have been 2020. I don't know. But anyway, I saw a picture and it was just like, that's there. That was the 242. That was the highest weight. I mean, it was like, I had a lot of, not just that I had the, like, you could tell the difference in what I weighed just by what I looked like, but I had that really inflamed look. And I know that with arthritis, fibromyalgia, as well as these medical illnesses, it causes a lot of inflammation. And I struggle with that. And I've been doing better. I've actually felt better the last, I'd say at least the last month or so, because in February I was still dealing with a lot of that. And I know part of that had to do with the physical therapy. What I was told by a rheumatologist that I'm seeing is that sometimes when you have arthritis and you exercise, workout, or whatever, it causes the arthritis to hurt and it causes inflammation. So I think that's why I was doing that, because I hadn't done any of that type of exercise in a very, very long time. As a matter of fact, some of the stuff that I did there I hadn't done, I don't think I've ever done before. So it did cause some inflammation, and I think because I was dealing with sciatic pain, it just made it harder. So it did help though. It helped with my balance. That's one thing that I noticed with that physical therapy. Within the first 2 weeks, there was a certain exercise I was doing that I'm hoping that I can share some of that when I do my PT exercises here at home. I want to share some of that with you guys. And one of the exercises that I did the first time I went, we had to put a bungee cord around your ankle, and it's attached to this metal iron thing, whatever it is. And you put it on your ankle, and you hold a stick with the hand that you have your ankle in the bungee cord, and then you do 20 of the reps of each different direction that they tell you to do. Well, the first 2 weeks that I was there, so that was 4 days of the exercises, I had to hold the stick with both hands because my balance was so bad. My feet would hurt so bad, and I have bone spurs in in the heels of my feet, and I just have a lot of balance issues. I don't know if it's in my ankles or what, but my feet were hurting so bad that I couldn't hold the balance. I couldn't hold myself there. So I was holding onto the stick like this, and my hands were hurting so bad because of it. Well, by the 3rd week, I noticed that I was able to hold it with one hand. Tight, yes, but I was able to hold it, and I was holding myself better. Now, by that 2nd month of the exercise, I barely had to hold it, just to have the you know, a little bit of my weight on it, and I was able to do it. By the end, it was like so much easier to do. Some of the other exercises did get a lot easier. Some of them were still pretty hard. And at the time when I was actually in physical therapy, this is part of me. I want to do everything fast. And even though it hurts, and I'm going to pretend it doesn't hurt, and I'm going to pretend that I can do this, and I'm going to go do it full force, and I'm not going to take a break, and I'm not going to drink any water until afterwards, you know, it's the anxiety. I have issues with being around people, especially doing exercises around people I don't know. And like the tables that they lay you on to do some of the stretches, they're just out there. Now, granted, it's towards the back, so it's just really the people that are doing the other physical therapy exercises that can see you or whatever, and of course the text physical therapists and stuff like that. But it was really hard, so I wanted to hurry up and get out of there. So I think I did push myself a little too much some days, most days. And so then the 2 days, at least the day in between, and sometimes even the day I went back, it was just like so painful. Like I could barely do it, but I'd push myself to do it anyway. And then by February, I was in so much pain. I was dealing with so much inflammation in places I never thought I would get inflammation. But it was, and I knew it was that, and it wasn't just being sore, because of certain things that were happening. And I did talk to my doctor about that, because I thought it was something else going on. But she said that with the type of issues I was having with the sciatic and the arthritis and the bulging discs and all the things that I have going on, that's what was causing some of that was going on. So now the highest weight, 242. Now, when I did that in 2020 to 2021, I think I was still at the 242 by then. And so I at that time had lost the 32 pounds. And in that first 3 months of that 7-month, like plant-based detox type diet that I was trying to do. And a lot of that had to do with my gallbladder, because any fried foods, all kinds of stuff were really hurting, and I didn't want to go have surgery. So I tried changing my diet, and green apples were the first thing that I looked up. I looked up stuff and it said green apples, things that were tart sour that would make your liver, like the bile come up, and so that your liver and your gallbladder would work together, because it has something to do with that. I don't know all the technicalities behind it, but I did a lot of that, a lot of pickles, which I love, and just more tart types foods. All right, I'm back. I had to change my cardigan, or clear off some stuff on my phone. My husband got back from his skate mission, and then I had a phone call with my dad. So now, where was I? Okay, I was talking about the numbers, and while all that was going on, I looked for my papers, but I still can't find the one with all the weights, because I was trying to figure out about when everything was going on. But I do remember that after I lost the 32 pounds, which brought me down to 210. Hold on, just okay. So that brought me down from 242 to 210. And then this, I believe it was in 2013, 2023. I believe it was then. If you hear some noise in the background, my dog is playing with his toys and his bone over there. And he's like right by the camera. So when I gained back the weight, I gained back 16 of that, because at my highest in 2023, I got up to 226, and at least that's where I was according to in the doctor's office. I don't know of the ones that I was doing here at home, because I know, like, in the doctor's office, you know, you're fully clothed, and sometimes in the middle of the day, and I don't know if, you know, the way weight fluctuates and all that, but that was the highest then. So now at the last time that I was at the doctor, let me see when that was. It's actually, I believe I wrote that down in here. And this was on the 21st. And this was at, not my primary, but this was at the rheumatologist. And on that day, I went in 11:20. And I was at 2:14. And then, on the 27th, here at home, and this is also in the afternoon. This is at 3:40 in the afternoon, actually. And at that time, it was 2:08. So, I know that, hold on. This tripod does not want to stay. Let's see. It's kind of crooked because he's laying close to the tripod. So it kind of leans into where he's at. Let's see if I can get this. Okay, well, I might be a little crooked. But, so at 2:08 here at home, on our scale here. So I'm thinking 2:08 to about 2:14. That could account for the clothes, the shoes, and all that stuff. You know, it's like usually about 4 to 5 pounds or so, and that was about 6 pounds. And I think I was wearing, I don't think I was wearing anything that real heavy. So I try to like wear some of the lighter clothes that I have when I go to the doctor, just to be a little more accurate to what I would be here at home. Sorry there. Let me see if I can find something that I can put underneath so that it doesn't fall over. Let's see. Okay, there. It's a little bit further from him. Alrighty. Okay, so with all of that being 411, that's still a lot. Now, my goal is to at least get down to about I'm thinking like 140 would be about the best for me right now. Now, of course, I know that being the height I am, I know there's different scales, or, you know, information out there, I guess, that shares, you know, at that height, you should be, you know, down to like 110, 115, or even lower. But I don't feel like that's where I want to be. Maybe eventually. But that's not my goal for right now. My goal is to get at least down to 140. Whoa, hold on just a minute. Okay, so sorry about that. My dog jumped off the bed where I'm sitting to film this, and he knocked everything over. So I'm trying to get it back to normal. But anyway, he wanted to go outside because he heard my in-laws' dog barking, and he needed to go see what was going on. So that's my goal. So 140. Now, I don't necessarily have a set time that I, you know, am saying, you know, within this amount of time, this is where I want to get, because I want it to take me enough time that I do it slow enough so that I can make sure that I'm gaining muscle as well, and, you know, being able to work out that way. Also, so I don't push myself too hard too fast and then give up, or end up, you know, causing too many fibro flares, or too many issues with the arthritis. And that I want to do it in a way that, allergies, everything comes together slowly, and that way it becomes a habit and not something that you know, where I gain all the way back, or, you know, something like that happens. So now moving on a little to some of the other things. Now I will share my measurements as soon as I do them. I still haven't got to that. Now I was planning on doing that on last Sunday again, and I missed that one. So since Sunday is the end of the month, but since it's the beginning of the week, I may do that on this Sunday. I believe I should be home. And even if I have, you know, even if something happens that we have plans and we need to go, I'm planning on doing that in the morning anyway, and just to get that done before I do anything else. And so that is, you know, one thing I want to take care of. I can get back. Alrighty, so where was I? Yes, this is the ADHD brain. My brain was going so fast and I couldn't get it all out on time. And then I kind of lose my whole train of thought. So now, because I want to do it slower. Now, granted, the book that I have that I showed, I think I showed it previously in another video where I was talking about books that I had. I believe I did. I will probably just show that again because I don't remember what video it was in that I shared it in, but it's this tracker book that was given to me by a sister in the Lord, Track Your Nutrition, and it does have the spots where you put in your measurements and all that stuff, and you know, the goal that you, and like here my goal is to lose weight, maintain weight, gain weight, and then it talks about your calorie intake, like what you want to do, and then it gives you ideal body fat percentage charts, items to track. So in this one, it does give you the weight to track, body fat, waist size, and then it gives you 4 spots for you to put something in there that you want to track. So what I'm going to do, as a matter of fact, I'm going to write that down while I'm talking about it because I don't want to forget, because then I'll be, you know, not sure what I'm doing. So I'm going to try to track my A1C here, and how I'm planning on doing that is because I do check it. I've been trying to check it twice a day for sure, in the morning and at night, sometimes in the middle of the day, especially because it's been a long time since I've had my sugars be pretty normal. So when they start getting on the low end, like a few days ago, I'm not sure what day it was, but I started feeling kind of like a little weak and a little like lightheaded. And I know before, years ago, when I first started dealing with this, when I'd have low blood sugars, my nose would get so cold, and then I'd get dizzy and have like this fainting feeling. And so I checked my sugars, and it was at a 90, I think 90, 99 or 90, somewhere there, 100 something, which isn't bad. That's like a fasting sugar after, like, you know, 8 hours of fasting. But it was in the middle of the day. And so there, you know, there's some days it gets low, so I start feeling kind of strange, but I just want to make sure that I'm not actually getting too low. So I'm probably going to do, because it does have week 1, week 2. So what I think I'll do is, you can, on the glucometer that I have, right at the end, it'll give you, I believe, a 7-day average, 14-day, 30-day, 90-day. So I'll probably just do that every week and put in my the average for that week, just kind of track that. The other items, I'm not sure. I think one thing I would like to track probably would be steps or miles walked. I do have on my phone, I have the Samsung Health Tracker or something like that, and it will track my steps as long as I have my phone on me. And sometimes when I go for a walk, I don't know if you know, if I just have it like in the pocket of my sweater or something, if it counts all the steps, I don't know. So eventually I would like to be able to get me like one of those Fitbit watches or something like that that I can wear and track my steps and the miles, because I do want to get up to a good amount. Now that's some research that I have to do to see what is a good average to begin with. You know, what type of walking I can and get done, you know, and then just kind of make sure that I'm doing more and more each week. And I don't know, I'm not sure on the other two, but I did write those two down, so they're in there. And I will see what other ones that I will do. And like I said before, I think that this is a 20 week, I believe it's 20 weeks. Let me make sure, but I believe that it did say that this was a 20 week tracker. I don't know where I read that, but yeah, 20 weeks. So my goal is to hopefully lose 2 pounds a week. Now, I'm not going to like lose my mind over if I miss 1 week and I only lose a pound, or I don't lose anything. And, you know, I just want to have that as a goal so it's not such a hard thing to reach. And so that if I don't lose anything, it's not like I said, oh, I want to lose 5 pounds or something a week, and I didn't lose anything, and here I am still carrying these 5 pounds. At least it's just 2. You know, it's not too much, and I think it's reasonable, and that would still give me a good amount in the 20 weeks. And I think I figured this out the other day, but of course I write them down on random sheets of paper everywhere, and then I lose where I put them. So I will find that, and I will share that to kind of like where I'm going to be at that time, or where I would like to be. And I'm not real good with doing the math in my head just like that. Uh-oh. Okay, hold on just a minute. I'll be right back.